With that, Mr. Wesoloski.
Thanks very much. As Michael said, I manage all the road racing programs for General Motors. Well, it used to be a lot, now it's down to this program and the Pontiac program and that other road racing series that I can't talk about on an ALMS weekend. But I have that program as well, based on a Daytona if you can't figure it out. So with that, obviously I've got one of the best jobs within General Motors. I get to work with the race team hand in hand. I'm out at the race shop at Pratt Miller at least a couple days a week. Get the inside scoop on everything that's happening with the new car, everything that's going on with our current continuous development, and then I get to say yes or no when they ask for more money too. So it's a pretty fun job. But as I said, now we're dwindling down a little bit and getting into the we're going to end up probably just with Corvette here as we go forward, just because of the economic situation. We can't support everything in racing. We can't be all things to everybody, but we're doing everything we can to keep this program going. One of the biggest things that helps is, and you've seen a lot of photographers here, and some of them from our team photographers, we captured all this on photos. The crowds here for the autograph session, the number of cars out here. We'll send somebody out here again tomorrow and get more cars in the photos. The autograph session where we took those beautiful 6 street cars, the GT1 commemorative edition. Thank you very much to Taj and Harlan for putting that together, because that means a lot to the race team to have that tie to the production car, because that was really one of my first roles as well. Tie the technology of racing back to production. Now we've got this core group of fanatics with the rest of us that understand the marketing tie as well. And to do something like this, to commemorate all the achievements of this race team, you should have seen the looks on the Pratt & Miller guys. They hadn't seen the cars, they had seen the race cars, because they had to decal them all up before they got here. But Wednesday night, those cars arrived down here from Bowling Green, and the photographer wanted to take them out, and he said, they're too dirty. So we drove them over to the paddock, and the guys dropped what they were doing and polished the cars for about an hour, because they were just so excited that General Motors would think to do that to honor their accomplishments. So it's a very cool tie that we've got between the racing and production. So as we do that, that's another way that we keep this program going. We can go through month after month, and at this point week after week, justifying our existence. And I can tell you the bottom line is, racing sells cars. That's why we're here. You guys know it, because you wouldn't have driven here on something. You didn't ride your bicycles here. Obviously, racing sells cars to you guys. What we're facing right now is we have to sell cars. If you don't market the cars, how are the people going to know about it and sell those cars? The most efficient marketing tool we have is racing. We've done all the return on investment calculations, and racing blows away anything else we do. You can sponsor put all the Super Bowl ads you want. You can sponsor all the NCAA tournaments you want. Racing is more efficient. It's a better ROI. So that's why we're still here, and that's why we're able to keep justifying this. We get credit for things like a commemorative edition. It comes back as credit to the race program. We also find that what you people do and what the race fans do, particularly this series, it's a very affluent crowd. They buy high volume, high margin cars. You guys are buying Suburbans, pickup trucks, things that make money for General Motors when we sell them, and we greatly appreciate that. So those things that we continue to do as we bring the presence to the racetrack is a big help. So as you can tell from my passion, I'm not just an engineer sitting behind my computer anymore. I've learned a bit about marketing and a bit about how to budget and everything we need to do to keep this darn program going, because I really don't want to go back to the real world. So keep buying cars. And what you're seeing is the technology exchange as well. You know, the C6R and the Z06 were brought out for the first time on display at the Detroit Auto Show onto the stage together. Ron Fellows and Bob Lutz drove those two cars out on the stage together. It's not just talk. There is exchange between these cars. Learnings on lightweight materials, carbon fiber bodywork on the race car. How do you execute that in production? We've got carbon brakes on the race car. How do you execute alternate material brakes on a ZR1? How do you make that car go faster around the Nürburgring? You put Jan Magnussen in the seat. and telling him to light it up and go. And he's still smiling. Tadge just reminded him about it today, and he was sitting over here and he couldn't stop talking about Nürburgring. It was unbelievable, but that exchange between the programs is fantastic. Tom Wallace came to us about a year ago and said, well, they're telling me the ZR1 will go 200 miles an hour. Nobody inside GM's ever designed a car to go 200 miles an hour, and I really don't want it to go over backwards when it hits that speed. Can Pratt & Miller help me with that? And can the race team help me out with the aerodynamics on the car? So we did. Because the lessons we've learned in racing apply to these supercars that GM is building. And it's just that availability of the exchange and the relationships we've developed over the years that helps us continue to do that. So there's more value than just selling cars to General Motors. There's a technology exchange. It's phenomenal. And then the marketing value. Obviously, we've got sponsors on the race program, and those sponsors create an ad, and it's got a Corvette in the ad. We didn't pay them for that. They paid us to have their sticker on the car. But they create an ad, and it's free advertising for Corvette. Every place we show up, showing up on television, there's ratings of how much dollar value that was worth. We didn't have to buy a Super Bowl ad to get that much airtime because we're out here racing. And we've got a great relationship we've developed with the Speed Channel guys, with the network guys, to get more features about Corvette. Now, the past couple of years, we haven't gotten a lot of TV coverage because, frankly, we've been racing ourselves, except at Le Mans, where, again, this year we'll have 8 cars in our class at Le Mans, so we're going to have our hands full, and we're going to try and make that last GT1 race a win at Le Mans. But when we come back from Le Mans, most of you probably heard, we're going to be running GT2. We're going to be going head-to-head. We're changing our mindset a little bit. When we launched this program, the idea was we're going to take America's performance icon, Corvette. We're going to go head-to-head against the world's supercars. At the time we first came in, it was Viper was beating everybody in international racing, and Ferrari was there, and then Saleen came with his S7R, which who the hell can buy that car? But there's about 12 of them in the world, and they're racing them. Then you got Ferrari came with a 550, Aston Martin came, we chased them all away because we were beating the world's supercars. Now we're going a little bit different mindset. Today's economy says it has to be relevant. There is nothing more relevant. There is no more relevant form of racing than GT2 right here. It's not NASCAR. Guess how many parts from the NASCAR Sprint Cup car from production? Exactly 0. We used to at least have to use the door frame or a hood. Not anymore. Nothing. It's the car of tomorrow, right? Yeah. Sorry, more NASCAR bashing. Anyway, this is relevant. We're taking the aluminum frame straight from Dana and putting it at Pratt & Miller, and we're going to build race cars off of those. Unbelievable engineering achievement to put a steel roll cage into an aluminum frame car, integrate it seamlessly, and get the same stiffness on a GT2 car that we've got on the GT1 purpose-built race car. These guys are awesome. That car, we just hung the bodywork on it last Friday, just to give you an update on the status. Again, it's much more production content. Requirements for this year, we'll be running basically taking our current engine D-stroke to 6 liter. Going forward, and in 2010, the rules require us to run 5.5 liters or less. So we'll be taking a LS3 head and block and modifying it and getting 5.5 liters, producing in the neighborhood of 500 horsepower for that class. When we do that, they hung the bodywork on the car last week. It's a ZR1 body at the doors. It's got flares on the wheels, front and rear, to fit the racing wheels and tires. I gotta tell you, it looks more aggressive than the C6R. But it looks purposeful, it doesn't look gaudy, and it fits that class. It is gonna be one awesome machine. The engine's gonna get bolted into that car probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and in about 3 weeks' time we'll be testing for the first time. There is one big group of excited people at Pratt & Miller and this whole race team that's ready to go because we need competition. We need to run. These guys have been beating on each other and get the inter-team rivalry, and it's just getting stressful and ugly. And now we're going to go beat Porsche and Ferrari and BMW. Aston Martin's coming. Jaguar may be coming. And we're going to try and convince Audi to bring their R8 to this class. we got a bunch of people that are coming. The benefit of that is if one of them drops off the planet, guess what? There's 4 or 5 more. We're not going to be able to chase everybody away, and that's great because we need to keep racing. And our plan is, and I will continue to say it, as long as we're building Corvettes, we need to be racing them.